We're following breaking news out of New Orleans, where multiple people were killed in an attack last night on Bourbon Street. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cornelia Nicholson. You really put it in perspective when you said it looks like a ghost town. And that street, I've been there myself, and it is very bustling. There's always people, no matter the hours, the time of day. Crews report progress across the county, but officials say the fire threat will remain very high as dangerous Santa Ana winds return early this week. Let's get straight to breaking news this morning. As we said, a man is now dead after an officer-involved shooting that took place near the Publix off Gun Barrel Road. A driver fled the scene of a car crash, leaving 3 fatally injured people inside the car. East Ridge police say the single car crash occurred inside the westbound tunnel on Ringgold Road. And our local 3's Riley Nagel is there right now gathering information. He has the latest details. Riley, it sounds like you were talking with the sheriff. What do you know right now? What details did he provide you? We're getting straight to the latest details in the shooting at former President Trump's rally yesterday. The alleged shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, is now dead. Some really great tips, but I think if I'm going to go camping, I'm going to leave it to the experts with the fire. I'm going to stay away. Before we get to this next story, I got to grab an accessory. Okay, because I can't do this next story without it. Okay, because we're talking Beyonce. So if we're talking Cowboy Carter, I got to have my hat on. Audrey, a lot has really happened in the last 48 hours with this cold, snowy weather that's just blanketed the Tennessee Valley. So can you kind of walk us through what we're seeing now? Well, you can see him behind me. USHERIAYMOMD. You might know him as Usher. He spent his elementary and middle school days here in Chattanooga. Riley, are you licensed to be messing with sinks and things like that?
Do you need a license? I wasn't sure. I'm just winging it out here.
Audrey will say, if you have an Aunt Jessica, you can answer her call. If you have a friend named Jessica Goko, you can answer her call. But this Jessica, you want to hang up on, right, Audrey? We're giving you a look at, if you were going to be in the car, this is what this would look like for you. This is what you would see. A lot of snow packed on the ground. Typically on snow days like the one we're expecting on Friday, drivers are usually going to see TDOT trucks out dropping salt just like this all over the roads and the highways like Interstate I-24 behind me. David, we're learning more that there were key factors into what played a role into Deputy Leonard's patrol car going from this Highway 60 bridge behind me down to Blythe Ferry Lane into the Tennessee River here. Hey, Xavier. Sounds like y'all are doing the electric slide over there. I can't see you, but I just hear the And this is really a team effort because I was here earlier as you guys were packing the planes. And if you can see behind me, I don't know if Ian, if you are able to zoom in, but your plane is packed to the brim. You know what we got?
What you got?
You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, yam, ham,
you name it.
You name it. We got it.
When it comes to the job hunt, most people are used to sitting at the computer for several hours a day, looking for a job, finding the perfect words to craft their cover letter, and going through a number of templates to build their resume.
Juneteenth is one of the oldest holidays in America, and today dozens of Chattanoogans are marching down MLK Boulevard to celebrate the day all slaves were freed. This is one of the planes traveling to Asheville, North Carolina to deliver hundreds of donations to families stranded after Hurricane Helene. Going to the hair salon and getting your hair done can be a fun experience for some kids, but for those on the spectrum, it could be a scary situation. That's why today Tammy and her daughter-in-law are here at Golden Steps to give them a calm experience with their haircuts.
We'd always heard Primrose, you're paying top dollar. It's the premium daycare in Chattanooga, and no idea what was going on behind closed doors.
The child on the left is Carrie and Alex Tyler's 19-month-old daughter, Eleanor. The Tylers say Eleanor had been attending the Primrose School in East Brainerd since she was 8 weeks old. But they had no idea the troubling events that were happening behind closed doors.
In retrospect, there were red flags that we attributed to having a toddler, but she, since leaving Primrose, her demeanor has changed completely. She's a much happier kid.
The incident happened on January 8th, but the Tylers say they weren't notified until January 16th.
We were called on the phone and said there was a video, that DCS was involved, and sort of seemed...
They downplayed it.
They downplayed it, tried to brush it under the rug.
The Tylers say because they had no idea the severity of what happened, they still brought their daughter to this Primrose School in East Brainerd, not seeing the video until 30 minutes before we showed it on air.
My stomach just dropped.
I'm just shocked.
Yeah. And then we're seeing the comments and reading that maybe it had been reported and nothing was done, and just teachers going on defending her actions. That sort of felt like a gut punch.
The Tylers say that hurt quickly turned to anger. They hired Warren and Griffin Law Firm to represent them and advocate for their baby girl. But this is not the first time Seamark Warren has represented families against the Primrose franchise.
I've had a case involving a toddler that had a fractured femur, where Primrose said that the toddler fell off his toddler seat, which is 8 inches off the floor. I've had a client that had a dislocated elbow, a toddler.
Local 3 News interviewed the father of the child who had broken their femur back in February of 2023.
He was in excruciating pain, screaming, crying. They said he would have had to have fallen off a 2-story building to break his femur.
Warren says these 3 cases involving injured toddlers show a troubling pattern and says accountability is necessary.
You drop your kids off, toddlers can't talk, but when you pick up a toddler and they're acting strange, or they're limping, or their elbow's hurting and they can't verbalize what happened, parents deserve better.
While the Tylers fight to get justice for their daughter, they say the biggest concern is the lasting impact this might have on her.
Since she's 18 months and we don't know how long this went on for, and she can't tell us what's wrong, what damage was done that we can't predict. Seeing that video, knowing you trusted those individuals, and then you have a strong sense of guilt. So we're working through that and just protecting our children.
In Chattanooga, Cornelia Nicholson, Local 3 News.
Would you like a scarf, ma'am, to go around your neck? It's from Mount Zion Baptist Church.
While most people spend their Black Friday shopping for the best deals.
A little hat in there, if you want.
You appreciate that.
Thank you. You're more than welcome, and God bless.
Patricia Suttle spent her morning giving back.
I'm a member of the TLC, tender, loving care for those that's, we'll say, less fortunate, but still loved by God the same.
With gift bags in hand filled with scarves and hats.
Not for men, huh?
For men?
Yeah.
She went down the line outside the Chat Foundation, giving the gift of warmth.
There's a hat and a thermal top for you.
The idea started around the Thanksgiving table with her nieces and nephews,
How sweet.
who planned to hand out plates of Thanksgiving food to anyone in need.
We have greens, dressing, ham, turkey on some, green beans and potatoes, fried corn, macaroni and cheese.
And then I heard them say, well, what they were going to do. And I said, well, do you have any desserts? And no, we didn't think about that. So I said, okay, I'll get the desserts.
People flocked around them as they handed out plates from their car.
God bless you.
1 hour is all it took to put the plates together, but just a moment to fill hearts.
Is this lemon cake?
Yes, that's lemon.
You make these yourself?
For Patricia, it's not just about filling stomachs.
I know it is hard, but we just have to take one day at a time. Because I lost my husband in June, so let's take one day at a time.
But touching hearts and soothing souls. She and her family providing a sense of hope when people need it the most.
Giving back is a blessing. God gives to me, and I should give my overflow to others. So it's just a blessing, and it gives me joy. That's all I can say. And it gives me joy.
In Chattanooga,
God bless you.
Cornelia Nicholson,
God bless you.
Local 3 News.
It felt like something out of the new National Geographic. Not used to looking outside and looking at what looked like was a river running behind us.
Sunday evening, Saudi Daisy residents experienced severe thunderstorms with downpours. But when Isaac White looked out his window, it was more water than he expected.
I originally thought that our pool had busted because water was coming down the front side of our house. The Ring doorbell went off because so much water was going down the side of our house.
But the water wasn't coming from his pool. Residents say that the rushing water flowing through their neighborhood on Sunday was due to this construction site, with that large dirt pile creating the perfect funnel to push water through their backyard and their homes. Another Saudi Daisy resident says the construction site being developed by Green Tech Homes has created erosion problems.
The new builder has really brought in, I don't know exactly the number, it has to be scores, if not hundreds, of dump trucks of dirt and it's just very, if you look at it, it's very unnatural looking, and it's really expedited the erosion process.
Residents say homes right behind the site had flooded yards and garages on Sunday.
The problem was it was coming down hard for too long. At first, it seemed like just a normal drainage, no problem, but over time, within half an hour, the water that was draining was no longer clear, but it was just murky.
Residents say they were able to get in touch with Green Tech Homes.
And then they wanted to make it right, so they actually came out today and put straw down and grass seed to try to fix what was wrong.
But while the developer had cleaned up Sunday's damages, residents are still hoping for a long-term solution to avoid a flooded neighborhood.
The biggest thing for me, and I think everybody in the neighborhood, is finding a way to redirect this water to a safe place. That way people's foundations in their houses don't deteriorate.
In Saudi Daisy, Cornelia Nicholson, Local 3 News.